Good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good morning. Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you're doing well this beautiful Saturday morning. I figure I'd do a change of scenery instead of doing the live stream from the office. Figure we'd come outside. Good evening, good evening. Or morning, excuse me. I'm so used to going live at night. Good morning. What is the purpose of occultism? That depends on the occultist and the path that they're going through. The paths that I choose, the purpose is ascension. And in my path, it's through the seven spheres. And then the 8th, ninth, and 10th, but that's a whole nother thing. But it depends on the path one decides to take. Good morning, good morning. Welcome in, welcome in. Trying to get a conversation started for any of the topics above. Good morning, good morning. So you believe in it, but you don't think 4 is possible? I am an occultist. So it's not I believe in it, I practice occultism. 21 years. This past July made 21 years. But no, 4 is not possible. Nobody is contacting any aliens. Do you say ghost hunting is trash because it's fake or because it's wrong? It's fake in the way that these ghost hunters on TV and on YouTube and TikTok and any other video sharing platform, that's what's fake, not ghost hunting in and of itself, but the way that it is portrayed on TV and on the internet is fake. You can't contact a spirit by buying a spirit box that you got from ghosthunting.com for $100, and you just walk into a cemetery and go, hello, is there anybody here with us, and press the on button and then expect spirits to talk to you. It would be lovely if it worked that way, but unfortunately it does not. So still zero evidence of God or gods? I believe there is evidence, but that's not what any of the topics up there are talking about. Good morning, you're on early. Yes, I normally go live at night, but yes, I decided to hop on and do a morning stream and do a bit of a scenery change. So instead of the office where we normally do it, we're doing it outside. Their consciousness is giving them the identity. What does that mean? Their consciousness is giving them the identity? And what is that referring to? So still zero evidence of spirits? There's plenty of evidence of spirits, but none of that is what is being discussed in the topics above. And yeah, I don't think people are born with this energy. With what energy? You have to be specific. With what energy? What energy are people born with? Thoughts on spiritual psychosis happens more often than people would like to think. I I have a strong belief that the vast majority of people in the New Age, people who think that they can channel the Galactic Federation or the Arcturian, Defense Alliance or the Reptilian Friendship Brotherhood or whatever, I think those people are going through, a giant spiritual psychosis. But it certainly happens more often than you think. People who think that they're getting prophecies from God or a message from God. God came and told me to, do this and do that. A bunch of spiritual psychosis. Do you believe third-party removals work and removing negative energy and come to me candles? I I don't know what a did you just spell candle wrong? Because I don't know what a candle is. So third party removals, do you mean like having a third party like remove a curse or a hex or something like that from you? Sure, certainly. Removing negative energy would just be the same thing as I just said, removing a curse or a hex. So yes. And a come to me candle. I'm familiar with come to me candles. Perhaps you just spelled candles wrong. Certainly, if you know how to cast spells, yes, you can get a come to me candle to work for love and lust rituals. So yeah, maybe you just spelled candle wrong because I'm not sure what a candle is. What is the independent and objective and verifiable and material evidence of God's spirits? That's the problem. You're looking for material evidence of something spiritual. You're never going to get that. If you want to figure out something spiritual, you need to be in the spiritual. It is experiential. So if you're looking for material evidence like me grabbing a spirit and showing it to you, then you are looking in vain. And I think you know that, and I think you're trying to take the lazy way out rather than you proving it to yourself. You want someone else to do it for you. You don't want to do the work, and that's fine. You know, we live in a world where everything has to be given to us and instantaneous. We live in a microwavable world, but unfortunately, spirituality is not microwavable. So you will have to engage. You might not like that answer, but that is the answer. You're looking for material evidence of something spiritual. That doesn't make any. I mean, you're trying to come off as like a scientist. Does that make logical sense to you? It does not. Trying to get something physical out of something spiritual does not make any sense. So, yeah, there is evidence of a sentient consciousness that gives everyone consciousness some truth. What are you referring to there, Huracan? Spirits, aliens are basically the same thing. I guess if we're going with like Merriam-Webster definitions, sure. But in practice, you and I know that when someone is talking about a spirit and an alien, they're not talking about the same thing. Aliens are these things that people swear up and down are coming in spaceships and are abducting people and all of that nonsense. That's not the same as a genius Loki, and you know that. Sure, is a spirit who is not of this world technically by the Merriam-Webster Oxford Dictionary definition an alien because it is not native to this world? Sure, in that respect it is. But in practice, you know that that's not what we're talking about. You are trying to play the word concept fallacy game, and that doesn't work. So, oops, excuse me. Yeah, I don't think you can channel properly. I don't channel at all. I don't claim to channel or anything like that. I practice real spirit contact through evocation, through conjuring, through invocation. I don't sit there and go, hi guys, you want to channel, your ascended masters and then speak some nonsense, ka, do, ook, eek, ap, oop, oop. That means your angels are watching you. Yeah, I don't do any of that nonsense. So you're right on that, Huracan. I don't know how to channel properly because I don't channel. Channeling is mostly nonsense. Host, what do you think and Dantillion for a love spell? Do you mean what do I think of Dantillion for a love spell? I mean, I wouldn't do a spell. Dantillion is a Goetic spirit, so I would, use the Goetia to conjure him, or a similar text like the Virum, or one of the grimoires of Honorius, or something along those lines. I wouldn't do a spell. I don't know. The elite are legitimately into the occult. Look up propaganda do. I'm very familiar, but that doesn't give any evidence that the elite are involved in any sort of occultism. I'm not familiar with any elites that are involved in any sort of occultism. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Wait, someone got rich selling angel decks, then converted to sell Christian stuff is a grifter? Well, that wouldn't be a conversion. A conversion would denote that someone is legitimately seeking another spiritual path, not getting in there for money. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about someone who just recognizes that there are gullible people on both sides of this spiritual fence, on the Christian side and on the occult side, and decides to start a business to take advantage of that with no spiritual beliefs of their own. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who were into the New Age and they claimed it was occult. So people who were into angel decks, as you say, or people who were into crystals and chakras and sound bowls and all the things that are pseudo occult, all the things that are occult adjacent but are not actually occult. And then some sort of negative experience happens that they don't understand because they don't practice or study legitimate occultism. They study the New Age, which doesn't teach you anything legitimate. It teaches you watered down, tertiary, quaternary, and quaternary ancillary practices, and makes those ancillary practices primary, which F's you all up. So they have a negative experience that they don't understand. They get scared. They run back to the religion of their parents, usually, at least here in the West, that's Christianity. And then they go on these podcasts or they make their own content and they claim that they were in the occult and that they were in witchcraft, and then they converted over to Jesus. But then, like I was just saying, when you watch their videos or you watch their podcasts of whoever other show they're on, or you watch their testimony or whatever, the things that they say that they were engaged in were not occult. The things that they say that they were engaged in were not witchcraft. Like, and those are the things I was just saying: sound bowl healing, chakras, Reiki, yoga. Those things do not denote witchcraft or the occult. So that's what I'm talking about. Not people who just recognize that there are gullible people on both sides of the fence and take advantage of that through starting a business. That's just good business. That's just capitalism for you. But I'm talking about the legitimate people who were in the New Age and then switched over to Christianity. You forgot to add that the Vatican has the biggest library of books in the occult. I'm sure they have a pretty substantial library. I don't know if it's the biggest. I don't know of, what might be going on over in like China or India or something like that. So you talked about shamanic journeying yet? I'm not talking about shamanic journeying at all. That's not one of the topics that's up there. The Warden's paranormal research is not trash. Who's the Wardens? I'm not familiar with the Wardens. Go to Key West, Florida. All their stuff is there. I've been to Key West. I've been all over Florida. I have family in Florida. That having a museum or having a store front or something like that doesn't prove that paranormal research is not trash. I don't think you understand why I'm saying paranormal research is trash. I think you think that I'm saying it's fake because it doesn't work or something like that, and that's not what I'm saying. I think if you had some knowledge of the occult and occultism, esotericism, some legitimate knowledge, you would know what I'm talking about. Is there any crossover between the physical and the spiritual for evidence? Can you elaborate on what you mean by that? Is there any crossover between the physical and the spiritual for evidence? Can you elaborate what you mean by that? Do I really have to visualize while doing the adjuration of Metatron? I try, but I'm still getting better. Yes, you do. Do you struggle with that? Like, struggle with visualization? Is that like a thing that you struggle with within your practice? Isn't spirituality just science we don't understand? I think in some respects it can certainly be that. I don't know if in every case, but I think in some respects, yes. I think there are some things that we will never understand. But I can definitely see that for a lot of things. Do you believe in magic? Yes, I am an occultist. Ooh, excuse me. Aliens are physical beings. Spirits are spirits. So I would agree if aliens do exist. I'm not sure on aliens existing. The probability of them being real is pretty big. But I don't know how I feel about aliens, but yes, spirits are spirits. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Both entities use the same consciousness. Both entities, what? But do you mean aliens and spirits? Super duper grateful I asked. You seem like a dope dude. Well, thank you very much. I had a friendship breakup because of. Let me see. Did you because of what? I don't think you finished that one, sleepy girl. What did you have a friendship breakup because of? And I'm sorry to hear that you had a friendship breakup because of something. There was a child assault ring in the 80s centered around Palo Alto, Stanford. They were Satanists. Are you referring to like the McMartin and all of that nonsense? Because that was proven false. That was proven false. Do you believe in magic? Of course, Jaquan. The vessel is different, just as you and I. So, are you able to? Because you keep saying a lot of things, Huracan, but you're not. You say things, and then I ask you, can you like, state what you're referring to, and you never do. You just make more statements. Are you able to clarify what you are referring to? You're just saying a lot of things. Can you clarify what you're referring to, please? Do you believe in magic? Yes, Jaquan. How is that not obvious? So four is not a lie. Haha, a scam maybe. No, I believe four is a lie. Nobody is contacting the Galactic Federation or any sort of extraterrestrials. Opinion on herbal magic and astrology. Both have their uses. If you plan on doing any sort of healing, I recommend learning herbalism or herbology or whatever the proper term is. And astrology is great if you want to make talismans and make amulets and phylacteries, which is just talismans, with a bit extra from the Egyptian side of things. You would need astrology for that. Also, to find out your natal angel and all that, you would need astrology. You think channeling is fake? I'm an atheist trying to look into the occult purely to learn. I think the way 99% of people do it on the internet is fake, yes. So pick your favorite. I promise you, anyone you're going to name. Oh, well, how about so-and-so? Who? Yes, all of them. So name anybody, and I'm 100% sure that whatever method of channeling they are doing is fake. Yes, they are taking advantage of gullible people. Hey, when are you going to do more study lives? I really enjoy those. I thought about doing that this morning, but then I was like, no. I don't know. What would you be interested in me studying, Zealous Iconoclast? I'm thinking since Quinn and I do the Three Books of Occult Philosophy on Sundays, and we're probably not going to get to any other grimoires anytime soon, like for at least a year or so. I think it may be prudent to do maybe a grimoire study. And maybe a study on some of the lesser knowns, right? Not like the Goetia or not like the Virum or not any of the Faustian texts, not the Red Dragon, even though I'm partial to it, not the Black Dragon, not any of the Honorius texts. Maybe something like maybe one of Albertus Magnus's texts, maybe De Nigromancia. No one has done that. I can't find any sort of analysis on Roger Bacon and his De Nigromancia. Maybe the Munich Manual, but there's stuff on that. I don't know. I want to do something that's like not well done, or not done a lot. Not well done. That doesn't make sense. Not done a lot. Is that grammatically correct? Something that hasn't been done too much. There we go. So maybe like a grimoire study would be pretty cool. Celebs high in status are occultists, though. Oprah most definitely. How and why? What makes Oprah an occultist? What do you think of Kat Von D switching to Christianity? I mean, I know who she is, but I don't know her beliefs before that. So I don't. Was she like a Satanist, I guess, or whatever? And isn't she like? Wasn't she married to like a skinhead or like a neo-Nazi or something like that? So. What is it you channel for, and how? I don't channel for anything. I'm not a channeler. That's nonsense. You don't need anyone to channel a message from your higher self or any of that nonsense. You can go and get that information for yourself. You print billions in capital markets. If you think I print billions in capital markets and then I'm sitting here with a fence like this, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, stop playing games with me. If I print billions, I'd probably be on my private island. I'd probably be on my yacht. There would be scantily clad women running around everywhere. Probably a Me Too moment would happen. Like, that's what would happen if I was printing billions. I'd be one of the elite and all that. But I'm sitting here in a rancher with a fence that cost me $1,200. But, like, stop it. I print billions in capital markets. Don't stop it. If you're going to joke, make the jokes make sense. It's not pseudo, it just needs to be charged properly. What's not pseudo? Crystals are mentioned throughout the Bible. Sure. What does that have to do with anything? So paranormal is fake? No, the paranormal is not fake. It's the way people go about it. It's the methodology that they go about trying to contact spirits of the dead. That's the truth for anyone who cares. That I print billions of... Sure, he got me, guys. Finally found me. That's cap. What's cap? So people with taboo problems trying to interpret energy they never understood. Yeah, Huracan, I don't know what you're referring to, so. Reiki is legit, though. It is legit, but it's not occult. That's the problem. When you see these former occultists on their now Christian podcast or on some other podcast that's a Christian, and they're like, oh yes, when I was in the occult, I was doing Reiki. That's not occultism. So that's what I'm talking about. Not that sound bowl healing or Reiki or chakras aren't real. Those things are not occult. Oh, love that capitalism diss. I agree with your wall. Well, my wall is not present right now, and I'm outside. Oh, you mean the background? I thought you meant like when I'm in my office and I have all the occult banners up on the wall. I thought that's what you meant. Why is ghost hunting and paranormal research trash? It is because of their methodology, right? So the first thing you have to ask is, what are they trying to do, right? If you were to ask any ghost hunter when they're out on the hunt trying to find a ghost, what are you trying to do? Well, I'm hunting. Okay, well, when the hunt is over, what do you hope to have achieved, right? You hope to achieve communication. You want to communicate with a ghost. Well, what is a ghost? A ghost is a spirit of a departed person. So it's the spirit of a dead person. Okay, so you want to try to communicate with the dead. Are you not aware? How can you have been a ghost hunter for 20 years, but you've never come across, ever in your research, ever in the history of ever, you've ever come across necromancy? Something that has been with humanity since man died. Since the first man died and another man saw it, there have been funerary rites within society. Every society, every culture has them. And there is a undercurrent, just like every society has sub-societies and subcultures. In the funerary world, in the world of death, there is also a subculture. These are the necrosophists. These are the people who venerate and in some cases worship the essence of death. And they learn from the wisdom of the dead. And this is where necromancy comes from. Technically it means divination by the dead, but eventually people caught on to the fact that the dead don't know much more than the living when it comes to future. So we probably shouldn't use the dead for divination. However, the name still stuck. And it has become communication with the dead. Now, with this funerary subculture of necrosophists, people who venerate the dead. None of them ever said, you know what, let's just walk into an area where people died and just go, hey, anybody here with us? We want to tell your story. We want to help you out. That's never, but that's how it is on all these ghost hunting shows. They just walk into the place, press the on button on their little ghost hunting device and go, hey, and anybody here with us? Hello? Why would that work? In every society, in every culture that ever had any sort of spiritual anything, whether it was religion, whether it was for the dead, whether it was for nature and all that other stuff, whether it was for the universe, there was always ritual in order to get in contact with something that was not of this world. The dead are no longer of this world. They're spirits. Their bodies are, but the spirits are no longer of this world. There was always a process, a ritual process to get in touch with something that is no longer here. Not just walk into the graveyard or walk into the haunted house, press the on button on your, really it's a modified AM FM radio. You don't have to believe me, just Google how to build my own spirit box. I promise you, you're going to find two types of websites. One's going to say, buy an FM radio. We're going to show you how to open it and change around some wiring, and then you'll have a ghost box. Another will say, we're going to show you how to build it from scratch, but it's really just an AM FM radio built from scratch with some wires changed around. That's all a ghost box is, or a spirit box, or whatever you want to call it. None of these cultures ever agreed that anything like that would work. And no paranormal researcher has ever been able to explain from an esoteric point of view how that would work. Oh, the spirits just, they use the radio frequencies to talk. How and why can't we have an actual full-blown conversation? There's no answer. Oh, well, the excuses start coming, and the excuses change depending on who you talk to. Invalid. Nonsense. New Age nonsense. You want to learn how to contact the weirdest thing. Meanwhile, you can walk into your local Barnes & Noble. You can go on Amazon.com right now, and in the same section that you're going to find your ghost hunting books, you're going to find your necromancy books. But for some reason, no one ever sees them. Everyone just has tunnel vision, and they only see the ghost hunting stuff. Everything around it and next to it, I don't even know what that's, some foreign language type stuff. I don't even know what that is. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing. That's why paranormal research and ghost hunting is trash. Not because it's the methodology that they use to go about it. You're trying to contact a spirit. What the heck do you have a box for? What the heck are you using a radio for? Why don't you use spiritual means to contact a spirit? Because that logically follows. You'd be surprised. For those of you who don't study the occult, you would be surprised at how logical the occult is. It's not like it is on Doctor Strange. We just make symbols with our hands and a portal opens up and then the spirits come out or some nonsense like that. I wish it was like that. And if it was like that, I promise you, I wouldn't be live on here talking to you. I'd be in some outer realm fighting the gods or some nonsense. But I'm not. I'm here in my backyard, my one-story rancher type house, $1,200 fence, because that's real. Not, well, let me pay $100 for this ghost box from ghosthunting.com and let me, just walk through the cemetery and press the on button and go, hello, anybody here with us? Do you want to tell us your story, how you died? All of... Stop it. Stop it. Why would that work? Sure, those things are fun around this time of the year. Ooh, Halloween, ooh, it's spooky, ooh, ha! Okay, cool. It's a fun thing to do on a Saturday night with your friends. All right, fine. I'm not knocking the hobby of it. But there are people out there who make a living scamming owners of buildings that are abandoned and, supposedly haunted, and coming there and telling people that they can get rid of these entities, which they never do. They never get rid of them. Hundreds of places around this country and thousands, if not more, around the world are still haunted after all these centuries. Doesn't make any sense to me. That's why. Can you elaborate on number 5? Yes, legit occultism is more than just manifesting and setting intentions. So you've got the New Age out here, right, telling you that all you need to do to manifest is just Just open your heart and sing to the moon and sprinkle some fairy dust, and boom, things just happen in your life. Oh, you want a Ferrari? You want to live in a mansion? Just take a picture of print out a picture of a Ferrari from the internet, put it on your vision board, and somehow in 3 years, by no work on your part, just because it was on your vision board and you smiled at it every day and you said, I will have a Ferrari because I am powerful and I am worth it. I stand in my power. You know, you say some nonsense like that, and somehow, magically, you get a Ferrari in 3 years. Right? No. I'm sorry. That's not how it works. Right? That's why you went from back in like 2012, 2013, 2014, all over YouTube. It was all the secret, the secret, the secret. It works, it works. And then a year after that, like 2014, 2015, all these videos started popping up about why the secret isn't working, how you can get the secret to work for you. Why hasn't the secret been working for you? What could you be doing wrong? All these. Why? Because it doesn't work. The new age doesn't work because there's more to it than just setting your intentions and your manifestations. Right? I have a 5-step process on how to get magic, occultism, manifestation to actually work. It requires you to actually do something. Hoping and dreaming, hoping and wishing is fine, I guess. If you want to follow some religion, fine. But it's not going to do anything in the real world. You can't just wish for a Ferrari. You might want to go out and either marry someone wealthy or start a business or scam people or something in order to get money to get a Ferrari. It's not going to happen just because you put it on your vision board and you stepped in your power and opened your heart chakra and you ching, ching, ching goes the money tree. The money comes back and out to me and all that nonsense. That's not going to get you a Ferrari or a record deal or your first real estate investment or whatever. Maybe you should learn how to invest in real estate and then go actually do it. Maybe that will get you a Ferrari. Not putting a Ferrari on your vision board and then you do nothing. That's what that means. Thank you for the gifts. I'm sorry. And I am currently over 99 questions behind, so I'm going to skip up. If I miss your question, just ask it again because I'm never going to catch up at this rate. So I'm going to skip up to like 20. So I'm going to miss like 700 questions, but I'll never catch up. And I don't want people to be like, what is this pre-recorded? Arthur, what is he reading? I don't see what he's talking about. So let me just skip up before those people start talking. Dude, I have a video that proves you wrong. Okay. Some of y'all have amazing names. I am being literal, no mocking. I work in financial circles. Everyone does occult shit. Like what? Can you give us anything occult that they do? What do they do that's occult? 93, really good talk so far. 93, are you a Thelamite? Or a Thelamite, whatever is the right way to say that? Or is that 94? I don't know. Did you read The Secret? That's not what it says. Yeah, I was lumping The Secret in with every other New Age nonsense. At first I was mad at this dude, but after I've read the books he's mentioned, I'm seeing. That's all I ask. The thing is that people just go, nope, he's wrong, and then move along. Instead of going, I'm going to prove him wrong by using his own sources against him. And then when you go and you look at those sources, you actually find out that I'm telling the truth, right? And what's funny is that none of the New Agers have any sources for anything that they say. It's just, believe me, I channeled it from so-and-so, so you just have to believe me. And if you don't believe me, you're low vibrational, you're still asleep, and all these other ad hominem attacks. Notice that when people disagree with me, I don't ad hominem attack you. I don't say you're still asleep. I don't say you just don't get it. I ask you, okay, can you elaborate? Can you explain? Can you go deeper into, just like I'm doing here? I don't just make claims. That's why I get 99 questions behind, because I sit here and I go on a 5-minute talk about one question because I really do this shit. But we don't see that from the New Age. It's just a bunch of pseudo-spiritual, pseudo-scientific mumbo-jumbo that they just lump together. So I urge everyone, you don't have to believe me. Just study occultism. You don't even have to pick the books that I recommend. Do it yourself. Just go on Amazon, type in occultism. Take your pick. Pick 5 books, buy them. Or if you don't want to buy them, I'm sure you're not... What's the word that I can use without someone foaming at the mouth for me to say a bad word so they can report me? I don't know. You're not mentally not there, so surely you know how to find PDF versions of books. Okay? If you don't want to buy them, you can search for the PDF and do that and read them. And then you'll say, interesting. Maybe the way that these new age people on this app and on YouTube and on every other video, Rumble and Kick and all this other stuff, Twitch, maybe all these people are just getting my money and I'm not getting anything out of it. Maybe when I do take a look at my life 5 years ago when I started the new age till now, unless you have a business where you're also scamming people, spiritually, you're probably not any further along. And you would know that if you actually studied some actual occultism. So do that. It's a fact that one applied cause and effects works. What are you talking about? That one applied cause and effects works? What is one applied cause and effects? Vision boards work for me. They make me get up and do the action. So then it's not the vision board that's working. It's you. The vision board didn't do anything. If the vision board works, all you have to do is just put the board up and then you would get a Ferrari somehow. You don't have to do any work, right? But you went out and you did whatever you did, whether it was find a wealthy man or woman if you're into that, or you started a business, or you went out and you gambled, or you did something. What's up, bro? Huh? Hot bagel? Yeah, I'll take a sausage, egg, and cheese, white toast. White toast. That's weird. That's no white toast. Thank you. But yeah, it's not the vision board. It was you. You did the work. You ended up getting whatever it is that you ended up getting, not the vision board. So you don't believe in the paranormal. I don't believe that I can use my Tesla like I've seen people doing, driving through the graveyard, and because Tesla has sensors on it that it's going to sense ghosts and things. No, I don't believe in that. I don't believe that I can go on ghosthunting.com and buy a modified AM/FM radio called a spirit box or a ghost box and then go to the graveyard, press the on button, and suddenly I'm going to be in contact with all kinds of spirits. No, I don't believe that. Not at all. Holy shit, this guy knows everything. So you think that just because I disagree with you that I think I know everything? Yeah, that just shows that you're just mad that I disagree with you. And you don't have any defense for it. You don't have any way to defend the things that you believe, so you just lash out. That's fine. Thought forms are real. I did not state that thought forms weren't real. What do you think people are confused, or excuse me, why do you think people are confused about what an occultist is? Because of the New Age? Because of Hollywood? Because of religion? There's a lot of factors that go into why people don't have a proper understanding of what an occultist is or what the occult is and things like that. And it wasn't always like that. Like, this is a very recent thing. There was a period where occult topics were part of a general, I don't want to say education, I don't want to say children were learning these things, but if you went to college, like if you went to university back during like the Renaissance and stuff like that, you were taught like alchemy, you were taught astrology. It wasn't like, you picked a major and that's all you learned. There was a lot more esoteric topics that were taught than we have today. So it wasn't always like that, but for some reason it is now. Is necromancy the same as mediumship? No. I believe technically they are the same. They're not. Necromancy is an actual practice, and it's not, and I'm not trying to be mean or rude, because I know that there are going to be some people in here who think that they're mediums. Necromancy is not just sitting in your room or sitting in a graveyard and thinking that's it. It's a practice. You have to do something. There are things to be done. Spirits are not just going to be attracted to us just because we're meditating, right? We have to do something to get the attention of these spirits that are not in this world. They're in another realm, right? So we need to get their attention. They're not just hanging out waiting for you to channel them. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's how like these channelers and these mediums make it seem like the spirits are just hanging around them waiting for them. Like, how would so-and-so's dead grandma know that they were going to get on a live stream today and that they were going to come across your stream, and so that way you can channel their dead grandma? Dead people can't see the future, so like why would they like that? That doesn't make any sense. Necromancy is a practice. Let me give you an example. For example, when I'm doing graveyard work, right, the first thing that I need to do is I need to get permission from the gatekeeper of the graveyard. There is an entire ritual to be done in order to petition the gatekeeper, which entails leaving offerings or sacrifices, if you want to call it that. Some people don't want to get involved with the gatekeeper. Okay, you can go through a psychopomp, such as, in my case, it would be the ancestors. It used to be Bune and Saint Cyprian, but since I started working with my ancestors, I use them as my psychopomp to go through the gatekeeper. Once you get permission to enter the graveyard, because you can't just go in the graveyard and work, you have to get permission, which again comes with a full-blown ritual. Once you get permission, you can then enter the graveyard. Now you have to do another ritual. This one's smaller, but now you have to do something else in order to find the grave of the person who wants to work with you. And then you have to determine if the person wants to work with you. That's another ritual. And then once they agree to work with you, then you have to buy the graveyard dirt. That's another ritual, right? Then, before you leave, you got to cleanse to make sure all that death essence doesn't come home with you, because you don't want that in your home. That'll F up all the energy in your house. So you must do a cleansing ritual. That's another ritual you have to do. And then, before you leave, you have to leave an offering, again, for the gatekeeper as a thank you for letting you work in the graveyard, right? So there's a whole involved process in order to work in the graveyard and work with spirits of the dead, at least to get the initial contact started. Once you bought the graveyard dirt and you have it home or in your altar or whatever, it's not as involved. But when you're just beginning to work in that graveyard, or you need a new set of spirits to work with, you know, maybe you've released the ones that you've been working with, whatever, and now you need a new set, there's a whole set of rituals you need to do. Mediumship doesn't really do, it just happens, and I kind of just have to believe you that it's happening. And I'm not about that. I'm not about just, oh, whatever you say, I don't question anything, because if I question you, then I'm mean and I'm wrong, and oh, I think, oh, only my way is the only way, and all this other nonsense that no one has ever said, or at least I'm not saying. So no, and necromancy and mediumship are not the same thing. There are rumors of witches infiltrating modern churches. Can you elaborate? No. I promise you, witches have... These are regular people. This isn't a movie, guys, where the bad guy doesn't do anything other than be a bad guy. Witches are regular people. They have jobs. They have families and children. They have a life. They're not worried about... The only people worried about other religions are Christians. Those are the only people focused on what anyone else in any other religion is doing. I promise you, witches are not focused on what Christians are doing. For what purpose? The church is already corrupted. The fact that there are 75,000 denominations proves to you that there's no work for a witch or Satan to do. It's already been done. The church is already splintered. The schisms have already happened. So what are you talking about? Most churches today, it sucks to say, most Christians today are not going to get into the heaven that they believe in, because none of them, very few of them, follow the original religion. There's been so many schisms. Most of the Christians today are not going to get into the heaven that they believe in. There's no work for a witch who is of a satanic, bend to do in a church. It's already been done. So why would we? There's no need. There's no need. You guys, if you are Christian, you've already been splintered. So The Secret irritates me. Definitely was a fad type of thing. Yeah. New Age is basically Christianity with some spice. There is a lot of Christianity within New Ageism, but that's because it comes out of Christian Science. That's another thing that most people from the New Age have no idea. They don't even know their origins. They have no idea that the New Age comes from the New Thought movement, which comes from Christian Science, which is an offshoot of Christianity mixed with a little bit of Eastern mystical thinking. They have no idea. If I were to say New Thought to them, they would be like, huh? If I were to say William Walker Atkinson to them, who was a super popular New Thought, New Age author, they would have no idea who I'm talking about. And you wouldn't have your Dolores Cannon or your Zachariah Sitchin or your Billy Carsons or your Jay Campbells or your Teal Swans if it wasn't for, Yogi Ramachakra, Magnus Incognito, Theron Q. Dumont, people like that. But those names don't ring a bell to any paranormal researcher, any New Ager. They have no idea where they come from. How can you know what you're doing currently if you have no idea where you come from? And if you have no idea where you come from, which means you have no idea what you're doing, how can you then be informed of where you're going? You can't. That's why. Huh? What's up? Oh, sorry. My boy was like, I'm live and he's like trying to fuck around with me and shit like that. Yo, relax. But, light a candle with your brain right now. I already did it, Will. Turn around, Will. I don't understand what motivates people to do these TikTok lives. The same thing that motivates you to comment in them. Do you see how that works? Join a Freemason lodge. I have no desire to be a Freemason, but thank you very much. The Corpus Hermeticum was very good. Thank you for the recommendation. I had to unlearn the Kabbalion, and I thank you for not just believing me or disbelieving me. You went and you did the research. You said, okay, this guy says the Kabbalion's not real, or it's not a real Hermetic text, and these are the real texts. Boys leaving. These are the real texts. And then you went and you read them, and you compared, and you saw that there was no comparison. And you saw that what was in the actual Hermetic text is not found in the Kabbalion. And then you came to the conclusion that I must be telling the truth, right? You did the research. 99% of the rest of the people in here who aren't already followers of my work and stuff like that are not going to do it. They're just either going to believe what I'm saying or they're going to disbelieve it and not do any sort of fact checking. And that's the sad reality. Most of you are not, you're just going to go, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's still asleep, and just leave it at that. Or you're going to go, I like what this guy's saying, and then just leave it at that. Instead of going, I like what this guy's saying, but let me just back. He could just be a really good talker. He could just be a really good talker. So check me out. I have videos where I give recommendations of books. I have live streams that have been uploaded to my YouTube where we go through books, where we read books live and we analyze them and we elucidate them. That's what you should be doing. Because I could be lying. I could just be a really good liar. You have no idea. You just like what I'm saying. You should fact check it. Or you don't like what I'm saying. You should fact check it. But most people won't do that. So all that was just a waste of time. Most people are not going to do that. They're just going to assume, sure, I'll get to it, and then never get to it. So heavy on the ex-witches turned Christians. They did a love spell that didn't work. Throw a fireball. I did, Will. Turn around. This is going to be a hard lesson to learn. Good luck. Thank you. What is actual occultism to you? The study and practice of the hidden, occult, esoteric, and mystical traditions, systems, religions, and paths. So just to give in just a few examples, like Kabbalah, Hermeticism, chaos magic, trad witchcraft, the Qliphoth, various systems of shamanism, various ATRs and ADRs like Kimbanda, Santeria, Candomblé, Umbanda, Obeah, things like that, right? Any book recommendations? If you mentioned them, I missed it. I did not recommend any books. What are you looking, what are you looking to learn? And I can recommend some books. All right, I've gotten up to 99 questions behind again, so I'm going to skip up again. If I miss your question, just ask it again. What time is it? Oh, 10:24. Okay. 10:17. Brick Squad. The bad guys are usually in the pulpit. Yes, especially in modern day Pentecostal revivalist type church, yes. Unfortunately, it sucks to say, because I know some of you in here follow that those types of churches. That's not the, sorry. If we're going to go with Christianity, we should probably follow the first 1,000 years. Probably the first few centuries is what we should probably follow. Not any of these post-schism, post 200 different schisms. We don't, like, what? At this point, entities aren't possessing people. They're watching humans destroy themselves. Okay? If you haven't already worked with your ancestors first, you should start there. Are you talking to me? Because I just went through a whole spiel on working in the graveyard where I mentioned I work with my ancestors. Or are you talking to the audience? Mediums are human cell phones just calling up the person. I don't agree with that, but that's fine if you do. I would urge you to study occultism and see if you still feel the same way. What's the original? The original what? Christianity? The first 1,000 years. So, I mean, prior to all these schisms, there was one schism, and that was the schism between the East and the West. So, the Orthodox and the Catholic, or the Universal. So, you would have to battle it between one of them, right? The Catholics say that the Orthodox aren't the right ones, and they, believe, and then the Orthodox say that the Catholics aren't the right one. So you're exactly right about Christians. Yeah, witches could never touch the church. There's no need for them to touch the church. The church has already been broken. There's no need for them to touch the church. But I can tell you that if a witch wanted to walk into a church, there wouldn't be any issue. My grandma asked me to go to church with her every so often to this day, and I go. And nothing happens. The church doesn't burn down. Like, stop it. How is all channeling a scam? Are you saying God or spirit never speaks to people? Well, if you're a Christian, then no, he doesn't. Those things stopped a long time ago. Didn't Jesus come to fulfill the law? Not to destroy, but to fulfill. And the law is all the Old Testament stuff, right? That's the laws. Well, he did away with that, and he created a New Testament, or a new covenant. So no, God doesn't. There's no more prophets. There's no more, angels coming down and giving a message to, women to have a baby. And that doesn't happen anymore. If you're a Christian, you should not believe in that, because your own Bible says that Jesus came, he fulfilled the law, so there's no need for that anymore. I did whatever they said to do. I did it. So that law is gone now. And now we have a new law. We have a New Testament. So all you need is me. You don't need anything else. You just need me. So anybody claiming to be a prophet or, to give you a message from God, lies. If you're a Christian. If you're not a Christian, if you're a pagan, I urge you to study actual paganism, actual occultism, actual esotericism. Leave the New Age instantaneous stuff behind. Spirituality is not instantaneous. It's not microwavable. Spirituality is not ramen noodles. The last 3 years was a waste, but unfortunately the last 3 years was a waste. Sorry to tell you. It's better to just accept it and fix it rather than to fight it for another year and then you finally figure it out. And now you got 4 years wasted. So just like the ex-atheist Christians that were never atheists. No, I don't think you understand why I'm saying that. But Christianity isn't religion. It's its essence based on living in spirit, no letter of the law. What version of Christianity are you talking about? Because I'm pretty sure if I got a Presbyterian in here, a Methodist, a Catholic, an Orthodox, a Pentecostal, an Amish, a Mormon, an Anglican, and asked them, do they agree? Maybe 2 or 3 of them would agree, but the rest of them won't, and they're all Christians. So which one are you talking? And this is the problem with Christianity. But this is not a Christian lie. But which one are you talking about? Which one of those? You can't just blanket it and say that all, because I promise you, I can go get a Mormon preacher right now and he would not agree with that. So, is black magic real? Yes. The context in which you're talking about these things is biased. I could say the same thing about you. The difference between my bias and your bias is I can back up my bias. That's what I've been doing this entire live stream. You're not. You're just saying things, and then I just have to believe you. And if I don't believe you, you're going to ad hominem me. Oh, you're mean. Oh, you're the only one that knows the right way, and all this other nonsense. Simply because I don't agree with you, then therefore that must mean that everything else is a lie. Like, do you, stop doing every logical fallacy in the book. Stop it. Stop it. Do you have a distinction between occultism and earth-based religions? Of course. Occultism is an umbrella term. Earth-based religions like Wicca or Stregeria or things like that would fall under that umbrella. Is it true occultists do not drink alcohol? No. That's up to them. That's a personal choice. They can drink alcohol or not drink alcohol. The ancient Hermetic texts are so hard to deduce. That's why you should get commentaries with them, right? And also, before you start reading Hermetic texts, you should probably have an understanding of Neoplatonism, because that's like there's a scholarly debate. What came first, Hermeticism or Neoplatonism? Who influenced who? So since we don't know, it's best to study them both. So that way, if you study Hermetics and you have a foundation in Neoplatonism, you can understand it, and vice versa. So the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn is the modern Gnostic tradition of Solomonic magic. They are a modern Gnostic tradition of Solomonic magic, sure, but I'm not that fond of the Golden Dawn. I do like some of their teachings, especially when it comes to like scrying. I like their scrying technique outside of Egypt. Not Egypt, outside of the Arab world, in my opinion. The West doesn't really have scrying down as an art. The Arabs have got scrying down as an art. So outside of the Arab speaking world and like Sufism and stuff like that, I would say the Golden Dawn has probably some of the best scrying tech that I've ever come across. And due to that, you can also say then their astral projection and their lucid dreaming, because they're all essentially the same thing, is also really good. But I don't know. I'm a single mom to a 16-year-old. I don't want him to go the wrong way. Well, I feel for you. Unfortunately, I don't have any advice. I'm not a father. I'm still young myself. I don't have any kids or anything like that, so I don't really have any advice for you there. But hopefully, you are doing the best that you can, and I'm sure your son sees that, and I'm sure he'll turn out just fine. It's not about the truth, it's about your truth. No, that's very new age. That's the problem. What if my truth says your truth is wrong? Now who's right? Those two things can't be correct. That's not how truth works, right? If my truth says your truth is wrong, one of us is incorrect. Either I'm wrong or you're wrong, and therefore it is not the truth. So you can't do that. Truth is the truth. Now, sure, multiple things can be true at the same time, sure, but that does not mean that if my truth says your truth is wrong, then we're both right. Like, no, sorry. You can feel that way if you want, but you have nothing to back that up other than your feelings, and then your feelings are now hurt, and I'm mean, I'm the big old meanie, I'm low vibrational, and all this other ad hominem, sure, but you have nothing to back that up with other than your feelings, and sorry, I don't go with that. Feelings, I know Kanye West went on a rant a few years ago. Feelings matter, bruh. Feelings matter, bruh. Sure, they matter to your significant other. They matter to your children, to your parents, to your brother, your sister, something like that. The world doesn't care about your feelings. The universe does not care about your feelings. And I'm sorry to say, God does not care about your feelings. Okay, God has a universe to run. Doesn't care about your individual feelings. So, sorry. Jesus traveled and learned mysticism. Sure. But I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not sure why you're just randomly saying that. What are mediums then? In what way? What do you mean, what are mediums? I guess they're mediums. I don't agree with mediumship, but I don't know what they are. Not true. That's not biblical. In what way? Can you back that up? Because the Bible certainly does say Jesus came. Well, Jesus said that he came to not do away with the law, but to fulfill. Not to destroy, but to fulfill. That's definitely biblical. So, you're the last prophet of God? Okay. That's what's not biblical, but sure. I was striving to learn as much about Druid and traditional Celtic paganism practices. I would recommend the Dolmen Arch. It's very expensive, so I'm not going to lie, it's super expensive. Like a lot expensive, like almost $1,000. But I recommend The Dolman Arc by John Michael Greer. It is a full course study on Druidism. Surely, you know, it takes 18 years to become a legitimate Druid. So it is a full course study on Druidism, but it is not cheap. But it's called The Dolman Arch by John Michael Greer. Check that out. I grew up in a Christian traditionalist cult. He's actually very right. I'm a Christian and I have so many questions. Sorry in advance. That's fine. I'm not here to answer questions on Christianity, though. I'm not a Christian. I am an occultist. If you have questions about the occult, I'm certainly to answer. Every time I stumble upon one of your lives, I find them so interesting. Well, thank you very much, Big Koopa. I've always had frequent visits from different entities as a kid my entire life. I would recommend doing a divination, doing a reading, finding out who it is that's reaching out to you and why. I think a package is getting dropped off. They're walking up right now. Sorry about that. Someone's dropping off a package. What does occultism mean? The study and practice of the hidden spiritual practices, religious practices, systems, traditions, and religions. Yes, I believe you are correct. Ethiopian. Do you mean the Ethiopian Orthodox Church? So the channeling ET people be fake. Yes, they're fake. Like, not just from an esoteric perspective, but even from a logical, like from a very mundane, no magic involved perspective. Why would, like, who, and this goes for me too. I'm not trying to be mean. This goes for me. Who the fuck are we? Why would some super powerful, interdimensional, all-knowing, time-traveling being want to talk to you and me? To give them, if they want to give a message to humanity, I think they have the technology to hijack TikTok and to broadcast over TikTok, or to hijack YouTube and or they would make a deal with the CEO of you or something like that. They wouldn't contact 22-year-old Jessica who lives in Montana who has 2,000 followers and ask her to give a message to humanity. How can Jessica with 2,000 followers get a message to humanity? That does not make logical sense. Even if her video was up for 10 years on YouTube, it would not reach humanity. This does not make any logical sense. Why would this interdimensional time traveling, and so if they can travel interdimensionally and across time, that would mean that their intelligence level is like over 9,000, right? So they're super 10 times more intelligent than us, yet they can't figure out a good marketing strategy. They don't know that if you want to get a message to humanity, maybe it's a good idea to reach humanity. I have 16,000 followers. I'm not getting a message to humanity, okay? Neither is anyone else in this chat. Unless you're Kabi Lamy or whatever his name is and you've got 100 million followers on TikTok, unless you're Charlie D'Amelio or something like that, you're not getting a message to even a small percentage of humanity. The amount of people that this live stream reaches, when I get off of here, it'll tell me, oh, it reached 8,000. Oh, you had 16,000 viewers over the course of your live stream. Something like that. That's wonderful. That is non-stat sig. For anyone who's in business and marketing, that is non-stat sig. That is not statistically significant in terms of 8 billion people. 16,000 versus 8 billion, I'm not reaching humanity. Sorry, but yet for some reason, people with 40,000 subscribers want you to think that they channeled the Arcturian Brotherhood Friendship Council or some bullcrap, and that they're going to get, here's a message for humanity. Sana, ubi, gun, udu, your angels are watching you. Like, bro, stop playing with me. Yes, the ET channels are fake. 100%. Who should not buy your magical one-on-one coaching? Someone who's looking for me to take them by the hand. The coaching is for people who already have a foundation. They're just stuck. So the coaching is not for like complete absolute beginners. Like if you don't know what you're doing and you need someone to get you on the right path, that's not what the coaching is for. The coaching is for someone who's been practicing occultism for, you know, a few years or something like that, and they're just stuck on their path. They don't know where to go, right? They feel stuck. They don't know what to do to get them to that next level, right? That's what the one-on-one coaching would be for. So if that's not you, I don't want you to buy something and then it's not what you're looking for or whatever. You seem really smart and really sweet. Well, thank you very much. I get the smart thing, even though I'm not that smart. I get the smart thing a lot. But the sweet part I don't get a lot because people think that I'm just out here like, you're wrong, only listen to me, only listen to me. So, how do you know these things? Because you read it in a book? No, I know these things because I've experienced these things. I use the books because, unlike you, I don't expect people to just believe me. So I say, you can go find this information in these books that also have references to books that came before them, that also have references to books that came before them, and so on and so forth. Unlike you, my practices and my beliefs are built on something that I didn't just make up out of thin air. Unlike you, the things that I practice, I can actually trace back centuries of continuous practice. Didn't just make it up. It didn't just come out in the 1950s with Dolores Cannon, or it didn't just pop up with the raw materials out of nowhere. I use the books as references so people just don't have to believe me. The occult isn't like you. It's not the new age. It's not just a trust me, bro. And if you don't trust me, then I'm going to throw all these ad hominem attacks at you. That's what you do. That's what your group does. The occult, you don't have to believe me. Sure, you can believe me, but I urge you to fact check me. And you can fact check me by using the books. That's why I reference the books. So, sorry about that. What should I read after the Agrippa books? After you're done with the 3 books of occult philosophy, I would recommend moving on to the 4th book of occult philosophy. If you want, I have a video on my YouTube. It's about 2 hours long where I elucidate on line by line on chapter 4. I think it's chapter 4, the part of the 3 books or the 4th book of occult philosophy that talks about, the Liber Spiritum. There's a lot of people who have beliefs in the occult that, like, using the methods of Solomon and the Abrahamic methods are disrespectful to the spirits because these spirits used to be former gods, blah, 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 all this other nonsense. And so that chapter proves that that is incorrect. And so I elucidate literally line by line of that chapter. Literally, it takes sentence by sentence, and we elucidate on it. So if you do get the 4th book or read the 4th book, it's free, available online, esotericarchives.com. I recommend getting my analysis along with it, but aside from that, all right, bro, thank you, I'm good. After the 3 and 4th books, or alongside the 4th book, it really depends on where you want to go with your practice. If you're liking the ceremonial stuff, I would recommend diving into the grimoires, because that's going to, well, either into the grimoires or into Hermeticism, depending on if you're going with a magical take or a religious take. But I would either dive into the grimoires, starting with, I mean, you should start with the Bible, technically, because they all kind of branch out from there. But I would start with, like, the magical calendar, or, no, start with the Summa, not the Summa Theologica. Start with the Summa Sacra Magica. Start with the Summa. I would start there. All right, I'll probably be on for like another 15 minutes. My food is here, my breakfast is here. So I'll be on for like another 15 minutes. Okay, what if after all our research we ultimately know nothing? I would say that you still, sorry, a squirrel tried to like sneak up on me. I would say that we still know nothing. There's still a wide, vast ocean of knowledge that we have untapped. In the totality of knowledge, all the knowledge that we have is virtually nothing. So we would still know nothing. But we know more than what we did. It's called perspective, yes, but you can have an incorrect perspective, right? So, do you believe that people are born transgender? That is not the purpose. Social, I don't know what to call that. Social issues, social justice stuff is not the topic here. We're not talking about race. We're not talking about sexual orientation. We're not talking about gender or class or anything like that. I love your impression on Kanye. I mean, well, he said that. I think he was at a concert. He was like, feelings matter, bruh. It was like, all right, Kanye. I enjoy reading up on traditions and rituals and origins on things of the topics that you discuss. As you should. Thank you, Amy Vanderhoof. As you should. You shouldn't just believe what I say, or you shouldn't just disbelieve what I say. You should fact check me. You should Get the text that I'm talking about, or if you don't want to get the text that I'm talking about because you think that those texts are going to be biased, get similar text. Amazon does a great job of giving you alternate text in the same category. Just scroll down a little bit. It'll tell you customers who bought this also bought, and then there will be 16 other books that are similar, that are not by the same author. So do that. If you don't want to, I'm not going to buy the book you said because it's going to be biased. Of course, the book you pick is going to agree with you. Derp, derp. Okay. Just type in occultism and take your pick. You pick. And I don't mean that towards you, Amy. I'm saying in general. I'm glad that you are following up on the things that I'm saying. I said it in case some people on here didn't know. Okay. So if you don't know what mediums are, then how do you have such a strong opinion on them? So what do you mean by when you say what are mediums? They are mediums. I like, are you trying to ask, are they human? Are they alien? I don't know what you're asking. Mediums are mediums. A child, self-aware and responsible, be wise in the end. I don't know what that means. What are your thoughts on Aleister Crowley being the father of Barbara Bush? I don't agree with that. There are people who look like other people. Like, that's not, like, there's only so many facial structures, and that's in the tens of millions. I'm not saying there's only 10, it's in the tens of millions, but there's only so many bone structures. There's going to be similar people. Surely you've seen these tabloid magazines or websites that go, Angelina Jolie's lookalike, or, whatever, just having fun with, so-and-so's lookalike. I mean, surely you've seen these articles and these little, stupid little, just fluff pieces about, Brad Pitt's lookalike, or what do you think a stunt double is? What do you think a stunt double is? A lot of actors will post pictures with their stunt doubles on set. These stunt doubles, sometimes they don't look exactly, but they often look like them. They often look a lot like them. So, no, people look like other people. So, just because Barbara Bush has some of the similar features of Aleister Crowley, and so does her mom, and all this other stuff, doesn't mean that, just because Taylor Swift looks like Anton LaVey's daughter, doesn't mean that stop it. How does one get into authentic occultism? So you'd have to find an authentic occult teacher, someone who's a mentor, who is an actual practitioner. You have to find a group that actively practices the occult, or if you're going to do it on your own, you got to do it from books or from courses. You just want to make sure that the books are actual occult texts and that the courses are actual occult courses from actual occultists teaching you actual occult things. I thought that was my Ring doorbell. No, it was mine. It was mine. That's like saying all ex-Christians aren't actually Christians. Now, you don't understand why I'm saying it. You think I'm saying it from the perspective of what a Christian would say it, that if someone leaves Christianity, they weren't really a Christian. That's not why I'm saying it. I'm saying it because when the people who leave the occult and then they go to Christianity, they will make videos. They'll go on another popular Christian podcast and they'll give their testimony, and it'll be a title like From New Age to Jesus, or From the Occult, or ex-witch, ex-Satanist finds Jesus, something like that. And then you watch the video and then you hear the things that they say that they did when they were supposedly an occultist, when they were supposedly a Satanist, when they were supposedly a witch, and none of it is witchcraft. None of it is Satanism. None of it is occultism. That's what I'm talking about. So from your perspective, it would be the equivalent of a Buddhist, someone who is a Buddhist, not a Christian. But for some reason, they claim to be a Christian. But everything they do, all their beliefs is Buddhist beliefs. They go to a Buddhist temple. They don't believe in a trinity. They don't believe in a heaven or a hell. There's no sin. There's no essence and energy distinction. There's no tag. There's no church fathers. There's no filioque. There's none of the standard Christian things, right? There's no, aphorisms, and there's no catechisms, and there's no beatitudes. There's none of that. They're Buddhist, but for some reason, they're claiming Christianity. And then they say, you know what? I'm done with Christianity. I'm out of here, and I'm going to Judaism. As a Christian, you would probably say that person was never Christian. They never did anything Christian. Everything they did was Buddhist. That's what's happening with these quote-unquote witches and Satanists and occultists who leave the occult and go to Christianity. They're saying, they're claiming to be an occultist, they're claiming to be Satanists, they're claiming to be witches, but when they give you their testimony and they go, yes, these are the things that we did, when the host goes, so tell us about witchcraft, what did you do? Oh, you know, they get very ambiguous. Oh, energy, and it's all about the self, and oh yeah, I did the crystal. Like, none of that is witchcraft. None of that is Satanism. None of that is occultism. That's why I'm saying it. You have no idea what you're talking about. All right, got about 10 more minutes on here. I'm 99 questions behind, so I'm going to scroll up here. Scroll up to about 20 again. What would be the best book you could recommend for getting into occultism? So it depends on what type of occultism you want. Like, the book that I would recommend for someone who wants to get interested in Kimbanda is different than the book that I would recommend for someone who wants to get interested in chaos magic, right? So it depends. But I'll go with the systems that I practice, and my main system is grimoire tradition. So I would say the best book to get started with that, to build a proper foundation, would probably be Donald Michael Craig's Modern Magic, the late great Donald Michael Craig, his Modern Magic book, the 12th edition, or the 12th edition. It has 12 chapters instead of the standard 11. Get that and work through that. After you're done working through that, if you are comfortable with that, I would maybe recommend moving on to like IIH. No, not IIH. Sorry, that's Barden. IIGD, excuse me. So you want to get the Cicero's Golden Dawn book and work through that. That'll be pretty good. And then once you're done with those two, you'll probably have a solid foundation on what, at least from a Western ceremonial practice. Again, this isn't witchcraft, this isn't chaos magic, this isn't ATR, ADR, this isn't shamanism, this is Western ceremonial magic. You'll have a solid foundation on that. But that's what I practice, so I'm going to give you what I practice. Why do you think channeling of the Galactic Federation is a scam? Because there is no Galactic Federation. And if there is, you need to give me a logical reason why they would contact you. And I'm not trying to be mean. Why would they contact me? Who am I? I'm not a president of a nation. I'm not a billionaire with access and influence to all kinds of crazy things in the world. There is no reason that some interdimensional, intergalactic, time-traveling, space-bending, infinite intelligence being would need to contact me. What can I do for it that a prime minister or a king or a president can't do? What can I do for it? There's nothing that I can do for the Galactic Federation of Light that it can't do for itself, or that it can't get a world leader or a billionaire, someone with real influence and real power, to do. It doesn't make any logical sense. It might feel good to think that you know, some alien is trying to contact you. That might make you feel good, warm and fuzzy inside. It's not real. Sorry. And no one can give me any esoteric justification for why. It's just a bunch of, well, you can't tell me what makes you so right. That's not, that doesn't answer the question. You cannot give me any esoteric basis for why they be contacting you. So from both the magical or the esoteric side of things and for the logical, scientific side of things, there's no reason for them to be contacting you. Why would they? And again, I'm not being mean. Why would they contact me? Who am I? I'm nobody. I'm a project manager for a bank. I'm no one. I have no influence. Why would they contact me? But you want me to believe that they're contacting some yoga pants wearing, girl because she lives in Joshua Tree? She goes to Coachella? Stop it. She drinks acai? Stop it. So what? So what? Crazy. Do people channel God? No, they don't. And don't need to shit on people. I'm not shitting on anybody. I never once put anybody down, didn't call anybody out their name, didn't call anybody stupid, didn't call anybody dumb, didn't call anybody the R word, didn't call anybody out of their name.
You're just mad that I don't agree with you, and you have no basis to stand on. You can't defend what you believe, so you lash out. The Golden Dawn is true magic. It's one system of true magic, yes. It's not the only true magic that's out there. But it is one system of true magic, yes. I started speaking light language last year out of nowhere, but it is amazing. Well, unfortunately, I mean, that's great for you. I don't believe you. That's wonderful. If you think that you're speaking light language, go with that, I guess. Can we channel God? No. No, we cannot channel God. And the reason for that, I'm a hermeticist. And the best way to how do I want to explain this? So, you may be familiar with the Christian term essence and energy distinction, right? This is probably the best way to explain it. We believe in that. We agree with that God is far removed from his creation. He exists outside of his creation, right? And because he exists, he's outside of space and time, therefore he is outside of his creation. Because he is outside of his creation, he can't, he doesn't hear us. There's no need. So instead, what he did is he gave us intermediaries. Now, this is where we would differ from the Christians. The Christians would say that those intermediaries are the saints and Jesus. And if you're Catholic, the Pope. And if you're of one of the Orthodox churches, one of your caliphates, I think they're called, one of the caliphates or saliphates, however you say it. I think it's caliphates. One of them. Would be, your intermediary. For us, it would be the planets, and it would be the spheres, and it would be the angels, and it would be the various beings that we have in between, because God is far removed. So we can never know God through his true essence. He's removed, but we can know him through his energies, through his creations. That is the essence and energy distinction. So no, you can't channel God. You can channel aspects of God through his intermediaries, but that's not God. That's not the total. You do not have God in you being channeled. Thank you. I will check it. You're welcome. I hope you enjoy. I think you will enjoy it. I'm not saying it's real, but are people making it up? Yes. They. Okay. Oh, so I hate to give a Christian book. But if you can be an intelligent adult, and just remove the Christian trappings from it, the information and how you can use that information remains exactly the same across, not just really across anything. I urge you, check out a book by Moshe Shah called Believe Not Every Spirit. Now, yes, technically it's about people who claim to be possessed by spirits, by demons in Catholicism. But the same techniques that are used to determine if that's fake or not, if that's real or not, you can apply that to anything, especially light language. Check that out. Idris Moshe, or something like that. Just look up Believe Not Every Spirit by some Jewish guy. I forget his name at the moment. I think it's Idris Moshe or Idris Shah, something like that. Believe Not Every Spirit. Read that. Use the techniques within there to determine if someone is having a legitimate spiritual experience with the spirit inside of them, or if they are faking. Check that out. But can we do for God? It's the same. What do you mean? Can we channel God? No. You're only focused on one piece of the puzzle. Okay. I mean, so instead of saying that, Kaylee, you could just give the other piece of see, it's how you New Agers talk. You talk as if you have the answer, but if you had the answer, you would do exactly what I'm doing. You would just give it. I'm not holding anything back. You want a source? I give you the source. I don't talk in some cryptic, it's a secret type language like you are. You're only focused on one piece of the puzzle. So then why not give, even if you didn't care about me, even if you don't care about me and how I think and how I feel, there's 86 other people in here. Well, 85 if we take you out. 80 now there is 86. 86 other people in here. Care about them. If you don't want to give me the puzzle, fine. Care about the other people that are in here. Why don't you give them the other piece of the puzzle? Instead of just saying you're only focused on one piece of the puzzle, how about you give the other piece of the puzzle? But you're not, because you don't have it. And you're just upset that I am dismantling everything that you believe in, and you don't have a basis to put it back together other than your feelings. That's all you have. And that's fine. That's fine. All right, we got a minute left, guys. A minute left. So let me scroll down here to the last few questions. I'll start right here. We know nothing, 100%. Hermetics show us that. Show us how can a book tell you a fact, but it's human perspective. Agreed. Please talk more about number 3. That would take more time than what we have here, but essentially I do not believe that celebrities are occultists. I do not believe that people in the elite are occultists. I am an occultist, so I would know if someone is doing occult things when people show videos on YouTube or on this app, and it's supposedly of some secret symbolism. The symbol that they're showing is not part of the occult at all. Like this, you won't find that in the occult. I will give you $1,000 if someone can find me this in any occult symbolic text. I will give you $1,000 if you can find this in any occult symbolic text. If you can find someone doing this in any sort of occult symbolic text, you won't, because it's not. These things only appeared in the last 20 years because you guys talk about it. What is the currency right now? Attention. What gets attention? People doing crazy things. What's a crazy thing? Satanism. So people like Doja Cat, people like Lil Uzi Vert, they jump on this train, and it works. They're at the top of the charts because you fall for it. So that's why. All right, let me just do these last 3 here. People try really hard to misunderstand him. They do, and that's fine. That's fine. There have been plenty of people who've come in here in this live today that have said, I act like I used to disagree with you, and then I read the books that you were talking about. And I read some of the other texts surrounding it. And there's only 2 options. Either I'm lying or I'm not. And if the occult agrees with what I'm saying and not the New Age, then I'm telling the truth. So the triangle is powered, not the triangle. This. The triangle in my hands up to my eye, like Jay-Z does and all that. It's not just the triangle symbol. And also Jay-Z doesn't make a triangle, he makes a diamond. It's Rock Nation, but nobody wants to hear the truth. They all want to hear the conspiracy. So it's not a diamond, it's a triangle in the conspiracy. Find me a triangle made by your hand up to your eye, like they say Jay-Z does. You're not. And there's plenty of occult symbolic dictionaries available on Amazon. I know you never seen them, you never saw them, you didn't know. Now you know. I know you still won't buy them, you still won't go and do the research, you're still going to keep your beliefs rather than fact checking. That's fine, but you can fact check it. You're not going to find any of this in any occult symbolic text. You're not. When are you going live again? Depends. We might be going out tonight. If I go out tonight, then I'll be live tomorrow. But if we decide not to go out tonight, because as you can see, it's cloudy and it's supposed to rain and stuff like that. So if it does, then we'll stay in, and I'll be live. They're above you. They're in the real occult. If you're elementary, they're getting their doctorate. But how would you know that? The only way you would know that is if you are also above me in the occult. So are you admitting to being one of these child predator, elite, occultists that are out here doing all kinds of crazy nonsense? Is that what you're... Because there's no way that you know that unless you're also part of it. So it's geometry. You've been around since creation. Yeah, you're missing the point. It's not the actual triangle shape. It's the thing that he's doing with it. It's not the triangle shape. Newer to watching live, you have been the first I found of any interest. Well, thank you very much, Amy. I disagreed at first until I read the books you spoke on. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're actually doing the research. That is in Kundalini belief. Yeah, Beth, I said 3 times that that's not what I mean. And this is another common tactic. You guys act like you don't hear anything. You practice selective hearing. I said 3 times that I'm not talking about just the shape of the triangle. It's how he's using it that people are saying is occult. Because I'm sure there are triangles in your house right now. I'm sure you've drawn triangles before. I'm sure you use triangular shaped items. Are you a witch? Are you No, you're not, because that's ridiculous. It's how you use the thing. But yet, you didn't hear any of that, right? which is tied to Hermetics. Kundalini is tied to Hermetics. You don't know anything. Hermeticism is Greco-Egyptian. That is it. The only outside influence it got was from the Semitic religions, not India. India has zero influence on Hermeticism. Kundalini has zero influence on Hermeticism. You don't know. You are a New Ager to the max. You do what every New Ager does. You take beliefs that you just like from different areas of the world and you try to mix them together. Oh, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. No, you're not. Taking things that you like from different beliefs and putting them together doesn't make you anything. Stop it. Stop it. Fake or good to delve into? Crystals, energy, runes, tarot, sacred geometry, intention. I mean, those are all okay things to dive into, but the problem is none of those things, maybe except tarot and runes, are individual practices on their own. They're ancillary. They're not secondary. They're tertiary, they're quaternary, and they're pensionary. These are ancillary practices. So it's fine to study those things, but the problem is that people make them primary. They make them the only thing that they study and think that then that's it. Stop it. That's not, like, it's the weirdest thing. It's the craziest thing. Celebrities feed into the conspiracy theories because it's marketable. 100%. It's all marketing. And Kanye West is the greatest. This man should open up a marketing agency. Kanye West is the greatest marketer to ever live. You guys probably haven't heard. He just trademarked, because you know how he's always having problems with the Jews? Well, and you know how he calls himself Yeh and Yeezus and all this other stuff? He just trademarked the word use. Y-E-W-S. So not Jews, use. Just to piss people off. And it's working. He's probably going to make another $20 million just off of just the word use. It's ridiculous. The greatest marketer in the history of entertainment. It is insane. And people fall for it. People are like, oh, he's anti-Semitic. Oh, my God. He's making money off of you. It's the, oh, my God. People are crazy. People are crazy. Nope, I don't have a label. I am me. Yeah, you can say that, all that feel good. I am me. You can't put me in a box. Yeah, you're a human being. That's a label, right? You are from a country, whatever country you're from, you are of that. That's a label, right? You have an ethnic background. That's a label. You have a job. I hope you have a job. Whatever you do for your job, that's a label. Are you married? Are you a wife? That's a label. If you're not, that's a label. Do you have a child? Are you a mother? That's a label. I can label you. Stop playing games with me. Perennialism. Yes. Oh my God. I hate perennialism. It's the weirdest thing. All religions come together and they all mean the same thing. You're telling me that Scientology is the same thing as Buddhism? They all agree? You're ridiculous. You want me to believe that Children of God, that cult, which is an actually recognized religion under the name The Family International, which actually promotes adult-child love time, you want me to believe that that preaches the same thing as Hinduism? Stop it. Perennialism is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Nonsense. All right. I'm 8 minutes over when I wanted to get off of here. I'm hungry. My food's probably all cold now. I'm going to hop off of here. Thank you all for being on here. I hope I pissed the right amount of you off. And I hope I pissed you off enough to go and actually do your research instead of just being mad. Go do the research. Go study occultism. Go study esotericism. Go study mysticism. You will see. But you won't, because you're afraid of having the last 5 years of your practice dismantled, the last 10 years of your practice and your belief system. You're afraid of having your entire cosmological world broken apart. But you shouldn't fear that. You should look at that as an opportunity, but you don't. And that's why you'll still be doing your chakras, balancing in your sound bowls, and you'll be in the same spot spiritually. I'm not talking about financially or your love life. I'm talking about something that actually matters, that goes into eternity. Spiritually, you'll be in the same spot spiritually in 5 years as you are right now. That's your fault, because you don't want to have your world dismantled. So enjoy. I'm going to go eat breakfast. And I might be back tonight, depending on if I go out or not. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate the conversation. Thank you. And as always, seek the mysteries, even though most of you will not. Bye.